longer. Setback a little more.
I was actually only 8 years old when we first started boxing. My dad took me and my brothers one day to, instead of baseball practice, we went to the boxing gym, and I saw the speed bag. I saw how good some people were hitting the speed bag, and I just fell in love with it. After being an amateur and winning national titles and making sure that I was doing everything that I needed to do to become a professional, I wanted to become an Olympic athlete, but my timing wasn't right for like the time that we would spend in the gym versus the time that we'd have to wait until the next Olympics. So I went pro. I started to become pro when it was about a week shy of my 19th birthday, and ever since then it's just been business, business, business. And everything was going perfect. Everything was going very well. I just won the title, and then a few months later, I fought in Los Angeles, and I was actually sick before the fight, and it definitely showed in the fight because I got knocked out in the third round, and I'm not sure if it was a technical knockout or a knockout, but that is when like the root of all of my problems started because of that knockout. So I fought again probably I think less than 2 months later, like 6 or 7 weeks later. I fought in Tijuana. I fought in Tijuana against a guy that had one fight and he was 0-1. I knocked him out in the first round as expected. As soon as I hit him, he fell to the floor. I fell down to my knees and started praying. I wanted to make sure he was okay. Just like any other fighter, I want to make sure everybody walks out safely. So fast forward to June 10th was my last fight, my career-ending fight. I think because of what transpired before in March, from me actually, getting technically knocked out, and then me fighting very soon after, which means I had to go through sparring. I had to go through that damage of my head still getting hit. And with that comes the long fight with Jose Haro. It went to, I think, the 8th round. I don't remember anything. This is all stuff that I actually like read online, or like I've heard from my parents or my family or my friends. And that night, June 10th, it doesn't exist to me. It's almost been a year. I think actually, 3 more days. 3 more days, it'll be 1 year since that event. And I don't remember it. It's okay. I'm glad I don't remember anything. Last year's been crazy. It's been really crazy. I actually had to get emergency brain surgery. I had a subdural hematoma in my brain, so it bled. They took care of it, and then it started to bleed again, and there was a lot of pressure inside my brain. So what they did was they removed a piece of my skull, piece of my cranium, and then they put it in a freezer, and about like 6 weeks later, we were supposed to get it put back in because I was healthy. I was doing very well with my physical therapy, and they were supposed to fly me home. They flew us here, we landed, we went to the hospital, everything was good for about the first week. And I think about like 7 or 8 days later, I had an infection in my brain. My brain was just covered in pus, and there was really bad infection going on in there, and I almost died. I almost died a second time. I'm actually training fighters at Warzone Boxing Club at my father's gym, the gym that I grew up in, ever since I was a little kid. And it's great to see the progression of all the fighters, how well they're actually moving along. I really started coaching in the first place just so I can stay close to the sport, and so I can make a living, in between fights. But now I do it just to do it.
Do you miss fighting?
Of course I miss fighting. I'll miss fighting for the rest of my life. It's bittersweet, it's bittersweet because it was tough. Boxing was definitely tough. It was very hard, but it was so very rewarding after every training session, after every single fight, when you get your hand raised in the air. that is just the most amazing feeling in the world. The feeling of achievement, the feeling of establishing yourself, the feeling of just demolishing another person. But sometimes those tables are turned, and you just got to accept it how it is.